Right. Welcome back, everyone, to yet again another video. And today we have the third to last clinching video, and it is on the Minnesota Wild. So I got a lot to unravel in this clinched video. I would also like to point out my video saying the Minnesota Wild are frauds. I don't agree with myself now. They are indeed not frauds. They're definitely a really good team. And a lot of the things that I said in that video were mainly driven by the fact that in the playoffs, the Wild haven't done much in years. They haven't done much of anything. They've been first-round exits. I want to say for a while, they've made the playoffs consistently, but they have been first-round exits the majority of those years. And that's always what I've been saying with this team. However, I do kind of hope that rhetoric does change. And yeah, overall, I'm still proud of this team overall, and they're still having a really good season. And I shouldn't have lived that down at all in that video. The Wild, 80 games played, 46, 24, and 10 record for 102 points at the time that they clinched. They had scored 242 goals and have led in 218, and they are 10th in the NHL. They are 25, 11, and 4 at home, and 21, 13, and 6 on the road. So again, they're playing really solid hockey. They're beating good teams. They're beating bad teams. They had that insane point streak that I ridiculed the hell out of, but they should get a lot of credit for that. That was a very good point streak, and I don't know why I was even criticizing it whatsoever. It definitely doesn't deserve the criticism it was getting. And I honestly hate that I made that video because a lot of the points, like even looking back on it now, and it wasn't even that long ago, a lot of the stuff that I said was stupid. So we're going to forget that video existed, Wild fans. Hey, I'm Nordic97. Nice to meet you. We'll start a whole new relationship with this video. Starting off here with your leading goal scorer, you got Kirill Kaprizov. 66 games played, 39 goals, 35 assists, 74 points. That is indeed not a down season. I don't know why I said he had a down year. What I meant was it's not the season that he had last year where he was scoring 110 points. I believe he came close to reaching. So definitely not having a bad season, but not the season that he was having last year was what I meant. So he's not having a bad year. Just want to rhetoric that a million times. Matt Zuccarello, who is sole reason why he's Kirill Kaprizov. Kirill Kaprizov is the sole reason why Zuccarello is this good. I still believe that. 77 games played, 22 goals, 45 assists for 67 points. Again, a really solid forward. Still playing at a really solid level all these years later. And maybe Kaprizov, you can say it was Kaprizov. Not sure if I agree, though, but anyways. I mean, I did say that the sole reason why was because of Kaprizov, but there is that other understanding there, too, if some people don't believe that. But honestly, take it with what you will. You got Matt Boldy, who has been an exceptional player in his sophomore season in the NHL. 80 games played, 31 goals, 32 assists for 63 points. I must say, in watching some of these Wild games, and that was the big thing of why, like, a lot of the stuff I said was stupid. I haven't watched that many Wild games. Boldy looks good. Boldy looks like a really solid, really effective forward. He looks like he's been in the NHL for a while when he's out there on the ice. Definitely a really good draft pick for the Wild, and I really like him. He's probably one of my favorite players now when I look at this team. Joel Eriksson Ek up next. I almost said Louis Eriksson when I saw Eriksson, but no, not Louis Eriksson. Joel Eriksson Ek. With 78 games played, 23 goals, 28 assists for 61 points. Once again, I have another really solid two-way season. I don't know about that contract, though. When it was signed, I was like, but still, solid player overall. Not going to ridicule that whatsoever. You got Ryan Hartman there up next. 58 games played, 15 goals, 22 assists for 37 points. Excuse me, really solid forward. Definitely had that cheap hit against, I believe it was Blake Wheeler, or, sorry, Nikolai Ehlers. I don't know why I thought it was Wheeler. In that game against the Winnipeg Jets earlier this week, but still a solid player. He has those moments. He flipped off Evander Kane. We'll forget that. But yeah, still a really solid player for Minnesota. We'd also like to give shout-outs to Frederick Gaudreau. Always liked Gaudreau. Really solid player. Sam Steele hasn't been, it hasn't felt like he's been the impactful player that he was in the Ducks with the Wild, but of course the Wild are a much deeper team than the Ducks were. And then he also got Marcus Foligno there as well. Another solid player there too. And then I would like to give a shout out as well to their deadline acquisitions, which I forgot to include. Marcus Johansson, Gustav Nyquist, Oscar Sundquist. I did not include their stats, but I did give them shout outs in here. There was too many of them to include them all, so I kind of just skipped through that. But sorry about that, Wild fans. That isn't deserving, but I did forget about them. I'm going to be fully honest. Then you look at their defense. You got Jared Spurgeon, 78 games played, 11 goals, 23 assists, 34 points, helping compile that really underrated Minnesota Wild blue line. With guys like Kalen Addison coming up into the lineup as well, definitely has become more and more underrated as that defense keeps on growing. Then you got Matt Dumba there too, who is likely going to be here to stay with the Minnesota Wild at this point. I don't see him moving. 77 games played, 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points. Again, really not a bad defender, but just isn't like the offensive scoring defenseman that we've seen in previous years. And that happens with some players. They I don't want to say they fall off, but they somehow fizzle out. And of course, Dumba has not been the defenseman that we usually know him as for a while, but he's likely there to stay in Minnesota unless he gets bought out. You look at the rookies up next. I gave a shout out to Kalen Addison earlier, but we're going to talk about him again. Addison, 61 games played, 3 goals, 26 assists for 29 points. Again, really solid defenseman, been putting up those assists for the Wild. Was a shockingly solid defender this season. And I'm hoping that he will carry that into the playoffs and into next season as well. And then you got Mason Shaw as well, who's unfortunately, I think, going to be out for the season. But he definitely deserves a shout-out as well because he's been a really solid rookie with 59 games played, 7 goals, 10 assists, 17 points. You see these players come into the Wild lineup this year, and you look at Brandon Duhaime, you're like, who is that? And you look at other players, too, like Brock Faber made his debut a few nights ago. You see these players come up into the lineup. This team has a lot to grow. They have a lot of young prospects like Marco Rossi. He's still got to develop. You got Brock Faber there, too, who just made his debut. You got Liam Ogren as well. You still have a lot of prospects that are yet to make their jump to the NHL. And the fact that a lot of these guys are playing pretty well right now really does tell you that this team does have a pretty bright future up ahead. And that really makes me feel bad that I made that frauds video because they indeed aren't frauds. And they're a team that has many prospects coming up, and they have a lot of room to grow, 100%. You look at their goaltending up next. You got Philip Gustafsson, who I did say, and I will stand by this, he was a key part of why the Wild had that 13-game point streak. 38 games played, 22, 9, and 6, a 2.05 goals against average, and a .933 save percentage. Ullmark is a consensus Vezina winner, but Gustafsson definitely deserves to be a potential finalist. He's been really good this season for the Wild. Has carried them through a lot of stretches, and I definitely hope to see him hopefully carry them through the first round of the playoffs, wherever they play, whether it's Dallas or Colorado. As of now, we won't know. When this video is posted, we might, but as of now, we do not know. Then you got Marc-Andre Fleury in net with 45 games played, 24, 15, and 4, a 2.84 goals against average, and a .909 save percentage. Fleury hasn't been the Fleury that we typically know, but still he definitely deserves the recognition as a solid goalie and will bring that experience. And it's definitely probably helped mentor Gustafsson, definitely, because Gustafsson's a young goalie. And, a guy like Fleury who's been in the league for a long time, you definitely need guys like that to lecture or, help motivate those players and help get those players through some of the rough patches of being a goalie in the NHL. And he's definitely helped out Gustafsson in that remarks, I do believe. They do not have any current injuries as far as I know. There may be players sidelined that aren't officially on IR, but as of now, they don't have any big injuries that I know about because Kaprizov has returned. I believe somebody is out. I can't remember who it is. I think it's Joel Eriksson Ek. I don't know. I should really know who it is, but I think it's Joel Eriksson Ek that's gonna miss the start of the playoffs. I just realized. So apologies for that. That's really unprofessional by me. But anyways, as I said, their current playoff opponent is undecided. It's going to be between either the Dallas Stars or the Colorado Avalanche. Once this video is posted, we might know, we might not know. But as of now, we don't know who their current playoff opponent is going to be. If I'm looking at them, I would prefer Dallas. I would prefer Dallas because I think Dallas would be a much easier opponent to take on because Dallas, as I mentioned in my Stars video, they aren't experienced well against playoff teams. And that isn't any disrespect to Dallas, but it is the honest fact when you look at the stats. So, anyways, I definitely do not give the Wild enough recognition that they deserve, and I do apologize to Wild fans that did not like the video that I made about saying they're frauds. They're definitely not frauds. That should not be any video that should be posted on this channel. But yeah, anyways, thank y'all for watching. Fraud Sports, I really do appreciate it. We have one more Clinched video on a specific team. That's the Colorado Avalanche, and then we will get into all of the wild card teams. And then once those videos are posted tomorrow, it's series preview time. So yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching. For letters and reporters later, really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.